Hello, fellow witches and wizards. My name is PhoenixGinny, and welcome to the stream. Welcome back to Let's Play Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. Hello, hello, hello. So glad you could join me. This is live, so you can talk to me live in the chat on your right, unless you're watching this on your phone, in which it will be at the bottom. Please leave a like on the stream. It helps, tells YouTube that you like it, and it'll share it with other people, the more likes that the stream gets. Whenever you're watching it, even if you're watching it and I'm no longer live. And especially if you're watching the video after the fact, please leave a like there as well. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button if you'd like more content like this, and click the bell icon so you can be notified the next time I live stream and the next time I upload. I will be live streaming again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube for Storytime Saturday, and we will be reading chapters 2 and 3 of Harry Potter's Chamber of Secrets, so come join me for that. And I might stream on Sunday, though I think I said that last time. We'll see how I'm feeling. There's a game I really want to play on stream, and I'm kind of anxious about it. So, kind of anxious to play it, but I also don't want to overdo YouTube, just because of all the other things that I'm doing right now. But anyway, I'm thinking about it, so just be aware of that. Follow me on Twitter. The link's in the description. And there is where I tell you when I'm streaming, or if I'm canceling a stream, or whatever's going on, it'll end up there. It's at PhoenixGinny, capital P, capital G, and switch the E and the O around. Yeah, so we're back into this. If this is the first time you're joining, hello, hello, hello. I will just warn you that this game is has some mature content. If you're sensitive to that sort of thing, it just is a little bit gory. It's not nearly as gory as some other Sherlock Holmes games are. They're pretty sensitive about that sort of thing. There's no nudity or anything like that. It's just, you know, you have people dying. You have some dead prostitutes, so there's some dark subject matter. If you're sensitive to that sort of thing, you might want to watch something else. But just wanted to warn you about that. Okay, so, we should get going. Let's see where I left off. I left off at the news agency. I forget what sort of news agency it is, but, again, I apologize for the resolution on the screen if you haven't watched before. I can't get the screen to fit my monitor in my OBS. This is the best I can do. And usually I have face cam, but I don't like to. I'm restricting how much face cam I do. It makes streaming easier for me if I don't have to spend so much time on my appearance. It's also just nice to just relax and be in my pajamas and live stream that way. So I apologize for the resolution of the screen, but that's the way it's gotta be. It's not likely that you'll be able to read anything. I will read for you to the best of my ability, because sometimes I can't read either. So just bear with me regarding that. I also have soda that I'm drinking. So, okay. Oh, this guy. Let's talk to this guy.
What do you want?
It would be very informative to search Bulling's desk before meeting him, but first I must get rid of this bothersome person, perhaps by offering him a scoop.
Bothersome person. This is just like Sherlock. Okay, I'm going to turn this up a little bit on my end. If you have any volume issues, please let me know. If you have any issues at all, please let me know. A scoop. Ooh, give him this.
Good evening. I'm looking for Tom Bulling, the journalist.
He isn't here. He must be sleeping off somewhere. He gave me a tip. He wanted to save a scoop for me. He always gets a good dirt, and yet when he comes in here, it's just to warm his behind. Look, he pulled his desk over the stove.
I would. I'm naturally a cold person. It's been actually pretty warm the past few days, and I have the heat on right now. I mean, to be fair, it's in the 40s today, and my hair is wet because I just took a shower. But I'm known to run the heat, probably when I shouldn't, because I don't like to be cold.
Listen, Scoop, I'm bringing it over. Only if Bulling isn't here, I'm leaving.
Wait, what's this scoop?
Bulling promised me a reward for info. There's a charlatan who does spiritualist seances that are a little bit special. He steals corpses from the morgue, puts makeup on them, dresses them up, and then uses them as puppets.
I'll give you your dues. We'll pay you if this info is true.
I'll write down the address of the hideout on the crook's leaflet, but the police will be in on this one, so you better get there in time.
Understood. I'll go alone. Too bad for Bulling.
Hey, you wouldn't have a little something in advance?
Look on Bulling's desk. I know that he always leaves a few coins around for his snitches. Cheers.
Thanks.
Watson won't be pleased that I'm divulging the case, but I don't see any other way.
We'll be fine. What is this? Oh, an IOU. Okay. I don't know if we can find anything around here yet. There's gonna be a puzzle later, but I think Bulling's desk is the only desk we can look at right now. Permit me to defend myself against the slanderous accusations brought against me. You were not lied to regarding the facts. Mr. Bulling spends all of his time in the most odious of pubs, but I am only doing my work as a journalist. It is during these outings that I can find the best information, because I am thus in contact with the common man. Let me prove to you, dear boss, that I can bring to this agency what it deserves, the most extraordinary and the most stimulating information for...
Even handwriting, yet fairly recognizable.
Okay.
This is Bulling's desk, the one closest to the stove. These are Bulling's notes. They are of little interest at the moment, but one never knows.
Okay, I can't read them, so whatever.
A charred match. This may come in handy.
Okay.
Some coins. I will take them. That will avoid suspicion if the journalist returns.
Right. That's what I'd say, too. Okay, is that it?
The fire has almost gone out, but the stove is still burning hot. Bulling recently used the stove.
Okay. What do you want me to do? Oh.
A torn piece of blotting paper. Curious. Curious.
Okay.
It looks like someone wanted to destroy this piece of blotting paper that had red ink on it. I can make out a few more letters, but backwards. I need something to help me.
A mirror. There's a mirror in here somewhere. I don't remember where.
A mirror. By putting this piece of blotting paper in front of the mirror, I can read what is written.
Information on the Whitechapel killer. Call by telephone. Washington? Washington State?
Apparently, our journalist gets his information by telephone too. Sadly, the name is almost erased.
Mr. Moore, I have noticed that one of your employees, Thomas Bulling, arrived at the meeting in a state of inebriation. I must ask you to take care of your team's discipline. I know that you indulge this journalist, given the explosive information that he manages to flush out, but this behavior is unacceptable. This should not repeat itself, or I will hold you personally responsible. The assistant director.
Bulling's boss, Mr. Moore, seems to be protecting the journalist. A mirror.
Why is it? Oh, okay.
I would imagine these are compartments to organize the paper's incoming dispatches. If I telephone one of Bulling's contacts pretending to be his assistant, I might learn something of interest.
Okay. He probably means Walsby?
This page has some light ink stains.
It
contains a
WA
list of
at the
telephone
beginning?
numbers.
Okay. Do we want this one, I'm guessing? 1875? Wow, that's a slow dial. I think we can go backwards. 75...
Walesby 1875, an ingenious way to save his contact.
Sure.
Central, Walesby 1875, if you will. Thank you, I will wait.
Walesby, I am listening.
Ooh, that's
Hello, my
tight.
dear man. I'm calling on behalf of Tom Bulling.
Bulling? So you know where this hypocrite, this liar, this...
Not at all. He is currently unobtainable. In the meantime, he has left me with a note asking me to pursue his work, and he told me that you were aware...
That's just great. I dropped everything off at his agency, but he didn't even bother to do the same for me. Tell me he at least gave you the information that I was asking in return.
I am ready, sir. I'm listening.
Do the police have a suspect for the bizarre theft of cigarettes and carrots that took place at the Commercial Street Market?
Okay, so this puzzle is a little weird. You pretty much just guess based on the information you're given. Do the police have a suspect for the bizarre theft of cigarettes and carrots that took place at the Commercial Street Market? When he comes from home, vote for me, I. A civil servant, Scotland Yard. The head of the Tories, he. Scotland Yard, because they're talking about the police. Goes round in circles, is searching for a rabbit. He's never tired and makes a lot of noise. Will surely be searching for a rabbit. Because I already know the answers. I played this game before, but because of carrots, make the connection with carrots and a rabbit. Gardener and ecologist, your best representative. That coughs is in secrecy. Has already read the newspaper. That coughs. Scotland Yard is searching
I
for a
think,
rabbit.
according to Bulling, that
coughs.
Inspector Lestrade's team is looking for a rabbit with
Which
a
is
bad
funny.
cough.
Ah, damned Bulling. One day he'll be in some serious trouble for mocking the police. And now, can you tell me, with regards to the parliamentary scandal, what did the head of the Whig Party respond to the Tories who were treating him as a great incompetent?
The head of the Tories, he... What? With regards to... I don't remember this one. With regards to the parliamentary scandal, what did the head of the Whig Party respond to the Tories who were treating him as a great incompetent? Vote for me, I will surely be your best representative.
According to Bulling, the head of the Whigs said, "Vote for me, I will be your best representative."
Good. That'll make for a good paper. There is one last question. According to a government social study, civil servants make the best husbands. Why?
This one I remember. When he comes home from work, he's never tired and has already read the newspaper.
I believe I can confirm that it is because civil servants aren't tired and have already read the paper when they come home from work.
Very true. Good. It seems like Bulling has finally done his work.
As everything is all in order, can you now tell me where the information is that you sent to the agency?
Yes. There is a large brown envelope near the dispatch cabinet. It's in there that we exchange our tips with Bulling.
Okay.
1,000 thanks. Goodbye, sir.
My salutations to Bulling.
I'm checking something on my phone real quick. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay. I forgot to put my stream on my phone. I like to watch it on my phone as well as my computer because sometimes the chat from the back end doesn't work for whatever reason. I'm just checking, make sure no one's trying to talk to me from the front end. Okay, so...
There are several documents in this file. Let's see.
Okay. Spring-heeled Jack, the Terror of London, fantastical character, first appearance, 1837. Associated with several suspicious muggings and robberies taking place in London and other parts of England. Description: a diabolical appearance, bat's wings, horns, blue flames coming out of the mouth and or eyes, etc. Identifying marks: all of the eyewitnesses speak of his capacity to make leaps of superhuman distance, where his nickname, conclusion, having become the very example of the urban legend of our century. This character fascinates as much as his demonic and fantastical aura as by the fact that he has never been caught by the police. Important: at the time of the attacks against the young women, Lucy Seals or Scales, I can't read that, and Jane Aslop, the papers covering the events had record sales for weeks. That's why Spring Hill Jack is the recurring hero of cheap fantasy publications and theater pieces. Popular and financial success guaranteed.
I wonder why Bulling is studying this tale about Spring Hill Jack so meticulously.
The Terror of London, Spring Hill Jack, the Phantom Killer, the Butcher's Blade, the Whitechapel Butcher, Dr. Death, the London Ripper, the Bleeder, the Bloody Reaper. Now, what do you think he's doing? He's trying to find a name for the serial killer, as all news agencies do, which is very not good. If you watch Criminal Minds like I have, I've seen every episode now. They always criticize the local newspaper for giving nicknames to serial killers because it makes them legendary, and it kind of rewards them for bad behavior. It makes them famous. It makes them want to continue their work. But you see here, Bulling is trying to find a name for the Whitechapel Killer so that he's made into this fantastical character like Spring-Heeled Jack was, which is, of course, how he gets his name, Jack the Ripper. He hasn't found that name yet, though.
What does that mean?
Mr. Charles Moore, I thank you for this testimony of the Whitechapel Killer that you followed not easy authentication. Do not hand over to the press without my invitation. Thank you for your collaboration and your discretion. We won't forget this, Inspector Aberline.
Well, well, a piece of information about the murders transmitted exclusively to the police without informing the press. That has piqued my curiosity. Perhaps I should go to the police station to get more information.
Sounds good to me. Tom, about the letter. Given the thanks from Inspector Aberline, I think that they took the bait, even if they were defending themselves. Think of the second. We must be ready if he kills again. Either way, we must keep up the correspondence. Be responsive. This idea will save us. We will get the information firsthand, and we'll make history. But stay quiet and keep a low profile. I'm not really in the know, and you will be the first one who gets it if there's trouble. C.M.
What does that
Charles
mean?
Moore, I think.
I've inspected everything, but there's no sign of Bulling. He must have dashed off to his HQ, the Wasp's Nest. However, before I go to see him, I should find out about this mysterious information. It could help me get something out of the journalist. To the police station, then.
Where is the police station? Oh, it's in Whitechapel. Duh. Been there several times.
Let's go to the police station.
Police station. Come on, let me go. Let me go.
Come. Back again, are we? Come this way, good man. The inspector has a few questions to ask you.
I bet he does.
Here is the man, Inspector.
Congratulations, Humphreys. So, my lad, one would say that you owe us a bit of an explanation for having left something with us. What is your full name and profession?
Sherlock Holmes.
Consulting detective.
Well, how about that?
Mr. Holmes, can you explain this get-up, your presence in the neighbourhood despite my instructions, as well as this most opportune restitution of jewels?
Firstly, I should tell you that not being under your command, I never understood what you said as an order, but rather as advice. I thought I would be wise to follow them to a certain extent. I intended to explain the stolen goods sooner or later. My presence here will allow me to fill you in on a few conclusions that...
If it is in regard to the Whitechapel murders, it won't help us much. We have no doubt that we will be revealing the identity of the murderer to the people in the area in a day or two.
I'm impressed, Inspector, and I offer you my sincerest congratulations. Nonetheless, you should investigate a certain doctor.
Listen, Holmes, let us do our work. You've rid us of a great pain in the rear end by finding those jewels for us. It's weeks of work that you've saved us. But I think you're a little underqualified for a case like that of Jack the Ripper. Until it's over, I demand that you do not set foot in the area. Is that
Who's
clear?
That?
I take note of your advice, Inspector. You mentioned Jack the Ripper. Pardon me, but you know the name of the murderer?
Oh, it's from a letter that the Central News Agency sent our way. It was written by the killer. And even if it can't be proven, it must be recognised that the signature is striking. This information is confidential, and I would ask you to keep it to yourself, Holmes.
Can I have a little look? Out of mere curiosity, Inspector. Then I shall disappear.
In that case, I don't see any objection.
Thank you so much.
All right, so they really did receive a letter like this in real life, the inspectors. I don't know if they confirmed it was actually from Jack the Ripper, though. I mean, how would you know? They never caught him. The 25th of September, 1888. I think they suspected that it was someone trying to stir up trouble, and it wasn't actually Jack the Ripper. Cher patron, I keep on hearing the police have caught me, but they won't fix me just yet. I have laughed when they look so clever and talk about being on the right track. That joke about leather apron gave me real fits. I am down on whores, and I shan't quit ripping them till I do get buckled. Grand work the last job was. I gave the lady no time to squeal. How can they catch me now? I love my work and want to start again. You will soon hear of me with my funny little games. I saved some of the proper red stuff in a ginger beer bottle over the last job to write with, but it went thick like glue and I can't use it. Red ink is fit enough, I hope. Ha ha. The next job I do, I shall clip the lady's ears off and send to the police officers, just for jolly, wouldn't you? Keep this letter back till I do a bit more work, then give it out straight. My knife's so nice and sharp, I want to get the work right away if I get a chance. Good luck, yours truly, Jack the Ripper. Don't mind me giving the trade name. P.S. Wasn't good enough to post this before I got all the red ink off my hands. Curse it, no luck yet. They say I'm a doctor now, ha ha. There's a chance this is actually from Tom Bowling, because he does work with red ink, remember? And he's the one who came up with the name Jack the Ripper. I think that's the conclusion you're supposed to make from this, is that this letter actually isn't from Jack the Ripper. It's actually from Tom Bowling, trying to stir up a story so that he can put it in the news and, you know, get famous and more money and whatever journalists do. Which I think is similar to what
not up
actually
to discovering
happened.
who Jack the Ripper is? Well, we'll soon find out, won't we, Inspector Aberline? I know who wrote the Dear Boss letter signed Jack the Ripper that Inspector Aberline gave
Tom
me.
Bowling.
And above all, I now know why. This Tom Bowling was inspired by this fantastical character to build a myth out of the Whitechapel killer.
Right.
Perhaps he would be receptive if I shared my discovery about him and prevent him from accusing Squippy. I must find him at once.
we're gonna
My
blackmail
best
him.
bet would be to try my luck at the pub.
Wasp's nest.
Ah, Holmes, I got your message, and here I am.
Here you are. Am I supposed to talk to you, or no?
Perfect, Watson. That oaf Bluto is looking for us with evil intentions, and he may be hiding here. I will try to get more information inside. You, Watson, will be our lookout, and at the slightest suspicious sound, do not hesitate to call the constable on his rounds. Good evening, Mr. Bully.
We know each other?
No, however, I have some information that may be of interest to you.
Talk, my friend. A pint for you if what you say is worth something. Does it have to do with the Whitechapel murders?
Indeed, I know the identity of the man who wrote a letter to the police, a letter entitled Dear Boss, in which the author claims to be the Whitechapel murderer
actually
and
say
is
Dear
signed
Boss.
Jack the Ripper.
Share patron.
What?
That's what it
It's
said.
a journalist who was
Which I guess is
inspired
Dear
by
Boss.
Spring-Heeled Jack in order to strengthen the credibility and the seriousness of his agency. This new Jack will give him some first-hand information that he, in turn, will dole out sparingly to the authorities, as well as some carefully distilled indiscretions that the big papers will come to beg of him. He plays both sides off against one another and becomes the chief orchestrator of the rumour. He wrote this letter in this very spot, and he has red ink on his fingers.
We gotcha.
Like you.
What exactly are you after, my friend?
You've been threatening a certain Squibby to distribute a telegram naming him as a possible suspect in these murders in revenge for an old feud. I would suggest you don't write this note and that you leave Squibby alone.
I'd forgotten about the existence of that rapscallion. I threw that at him when I was visiting the station to get the dope. You should have seen his face.
You must also stop sending these letters that waste the authorities' precious time.
Right, well, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Sure.
I have a great relationship with the Bobbies. Just ask around. I don't have to answer to nobody. Now leave me alone.
Okay, bye.
Farewell, sir.
Good riddance.
Is that it? Or are we done?
Let's hurry to the police station, Watson. We are close to our goal. Squibby will be able to reveal what he knows about Tumblety. Squibby, so that's it. You're a free man again. We were just coming to the station to find you.
Yeah, the Bobbies agreed to let me go and I came to see Bluto before ferreting you out. So, you've seen the newspaper man?
Yes, he is in the pub and everything is taken care of, but I'm waiting to hear what you have to say about Dr. Tumblety.
Okay, but we have to be quick. One night, I goes to see Bluto in his hideout that ain't far from the boarding house where this Tumblety bloke has a room. I see him coming in too. He must have been on one real binge. To the point, the Tumblety fella was there, and he smiles at me, all nice like. He tells me he's a great Yankee doctor, but my business interests him. I'm interested, I tell him, but I'm not the type to just jump right in without getting to know a person, see? He invites me around to his room to talk business, just him and me. We empty a bottle or two, and all of a sudden, like, he wants to show me what he's got in this big trunk that he always carts around places. I just about vomited, see? In these jars, just like pickles, you know, there were pieces of meat. And he whispers that it's the lady bits of some old dames. He called them peckybins. I call them love killers, I would. Yuck! After that, he starts to go on about rich folk. They ain't nothing but dogs, and I won't tell you the worst of it. Then he comes all close to me and puts his sweaty hand on my leg. He was one of them types, not me. I don't wait a second before I give him a good thrashing, and I start running and let go of him, and he still wants to see me again just to talk business. But then I had to do time, so business.
Do you know where he can be found?
Why, ain't he in his digs? Maybe he got to liking life behind bars too. I heard that in some jobs there's a way to.
Thank you for your information, and we'll meet again, my friend. Here is the sum I promised to get you out of London.
Ciao, fella. I've just got a little score to settle with Bluto, and I'm heading for the country.
What's going on here?
Lipsky!
Dutchfield should look familiar.
My dear Watson, we must strike while the iron is hot. We have avoided meeting Dr. Tumblety until now. The time has come to do so.
Do you have an opinion, Holmes?
We must assure ourselves that the factor collector of female organs and a murderer who removes said organs are resident in the same area at the same time is nothing more than coincidence.
I wonder if they actually had a suspect called Dr. Tumblety. I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I thought that you wouldn't bring me back your keys. Oh, it's you, Mr. Holmes. Good evening, Dr. Watson.
Indeed, it is I again. One of your tenants left without returning his keys?
Yes, it's Dr. Tumblety whom we spoke about. Shortly after your last visit here, some constables came and asked me a few questions regarding him. Barely had they left than the doctor came barreling around a street corner and rushed up into his room upstairs. A little while afterwards, while I was tidying, I heard a thud in his room and a rush down the stairs. He left with most of his bags, but without returning his keys. You can go up and see if you wish. The door is still open.
Okay, yay. Let's go upstairs. I don't think we need to rush up there.
Careful, Watson. Do not walk around here until I've inspected these marks.
I know, Holmes, I know. I understand your methods. Ah, you have your rule and magnifying glass. I thought that you had forgotten them, Holmes.
I never forget the essentials, my dear Watson. Right foot, light trails. The man was running. This isn't water. Going by its sticky texture and odour, I'd say we're dealing with formalin. Size 13. These are the footprints of a tall man who had recently stepped in formalin and who left this room in a hurry.
Well, can I walk on it and enter the room now, Holmes?
I feel like Watson had to walk into it in order to stand there.
Going by its size, this enormous trunk must be a wardrobe. These brackets are rather unusual. What do you think, Watson?
Let's see, Holmes. These are the names of the battles from the American Civil War.
Okay. I don't think we have what we need for this yet, though.
There are a few pieces of a large glass jar in this puddle. The man who left the footprints on the ground must have walked in it while fleeing.
Yeah, and we clearly have some lady bits there. Dear Francis, it is impossible for us to meet again. I am feeling terrible, as pursuing our relationship further would put both my marriage and my reputation in danger. I must return to that life of love, fleeting and physical, in which a few coins to these young men assures corporal peace and anonymity. These growing feelings that I have for you make me scared, and I would prefer to shun this passion for the fear that it may never leave me. Perhaps we shall cross paths again one day in a discreet location where like-minded men meet. I know that you frequent them regularly. You never hide yourself. For my part, I will spend more time with my wife and girls in order to find the serenity, and I hope to throw the veil of oblivion over our passion embraces. All the best, Charles. My dear Francis, it is in putting aside our common past and thus as a friend that I am sending you these words. I have learned from some mutual friends of your recent trouble with the law. You should be more careful. England is nothing in common with the Wild West, but her seedy areas can be just as dangerous. Your attraction to young rogues will cost you dearly one of these days, whether it be at the end of an alley or on the benches of a jury. A man of your quality and fortune does not have to frequent the hovels and bring his pistol with him everywhere. It is not necessary to use violence to find partners, unless this violence pleases you. Certain circles that we used to frequent are still open to you. Take advantage of this healthy and respectable company rather than demeaning yourself with these destitute lads. And pray get rid of that god-awful chest. Who knows what the people to whom you show, while bragging, must think and speak of it. The man you once loved, Henry.
This Dr. Tumblety seems to be attracted to men more than women. That much is clear. So, the doctor has a handgun, and he would use it to restrain young men, perhaps.
He likes it rough, for a lack of a better way of saying it. Yikes. Do not understand how you found yourself in the situation. Your passionate discussions on the legitimacy of this war should have convinced more than one. I still remember when you imitated him during that meeting. You struck that very characteristic pose and you exclaimed, "Vicksburg is the key. The war can never be brought to a close until that key is in our pocket." We all applauded. I'm sure that even Lincoln himself would have applauded. During these dark hours, it was rare to have the occasion to laugh. So many deaths, ending with our much-loved president killed by this coward and left to join those of the victory of Gettysburg, who courageously fell so that the next day the key would be in our pocket.
If this letter is addressed to him, it would appear our doctor is a veteran of the American Civil War. Vicksburg is the key. Now, that is interesting.
Yeah, well, this puzzle is actually kind of
These footprints
hard.
are the same as those found in front of the door. These footsteps must be those of Squibby. He must have hit Tumblety, who dropped one of his jars.
And he ran out. Elementary, Holmes.
Perfect, Watson.
Alright.
Going by its size, this enormous trunk must be a wardrobe.
Okay, so I never remember how to do this. I have no idea how you come to find the correct answer. I usually just guess or look up the answer, because yikes. The Civil War. When did it end? I don't know why it says victory here. The morrow, the key. Yeah, Vicksburg. Yeah. I thought it ended in... Am I wrong in thinking that it ended in 1865? Because that's not on here anywhere. I don't think it was 1771. That's not right. I don't know.
Let's see. 5 latches, each fitted with a 6-number combination system.
Yeah, thanks. But I don't know why it says victory here. Why would it be there? You'd think that the victory battle would be the last one, right? Unless this is referring to this one. Oh, maybe it is. 1865. That might be what that means. Okay. So then all the other dates are going to come before this one. But there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dates. So there's only one of them we're not going to use. But 2 of them come after this date. I don't know. I don't understand. I never understood this puzzle. Maybe I should look it up. I have never understood how this puzzle worked. Let me look on my phone. Let's see. This is Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper walkthrough. Okay. Okay, Tumbledee's room, climb up the stairs and go right, look at footprints on the floor, use the lens on the close-up of the footprints, right foot, man running, move the lens to spill below the footprint and see sticky formalin. Use the measuring tape and get a measurement of size 13, enter the room, turn right to the bed. Read the letter on the side table beside the bed that mentions Vicksburg is the key. Go to the desk. Read the letter on the desk from Charles. Right-click to read another letter from Henry. Check the spill and broken glass on the floor left of the desk. Check the footprint in front of Watson. Lock of the trunk. Go to the trunk by sink. Click on the lock. See names of American Civil War battles, flags, and uniforms. At the bottom are dates. The aim of the puzzle is to enter the dates of the battles on the left side of the location of the battle, the flags, and victor of that battle. How are we supposed to know any of this? We have no information in the game itself how to find this. That is inappropriate of a puzzle in any game ever. This isn't common knowledge to anybody. Okay, let's see. The aim of the puzzle is to enter the dates of the battles on the left side of the location of the battle, the flags and victor of that battle. When the correct date, flag, and the uniform are entered, the bar at right is pulled back. The dates are in chronological order and are taken from the dates at bottom. The clue mentioned as Vicksburg is the key. Day the garrison finally surrendered is on July 4th. Let me look at it. July 4th. 1863, really? Well, I guess maybe... Well... We have 61, 62, 63. 61... 2, 3, 4, 5. That date, the date that's here, isn't on here at all. How are you supposed to know this? I would like to be able to solve this puzzle on my own without a walkthrough, but that's impossible because there's no way we can get this information any other way. Oh, and this person's playing the game in French. That must make things more difficult. I just realized that this picture, the information is in French. The numbers aren't, well, well, the numbers are in French. I'm silly. Okay. So it says July 4th, 1963. How are we supposed to know that, though? That's the annoying part. How is a French person supposed to know this? An American doesn't know this. I don't know how you're supposed to know any of this. It's really annoying. Oh, wait. Hold on. Am I reading this incorrectly? No. I just wonder if the dates are backwards. No, this is the day. And then the month. Just like this. I don't know why it's not down here. How are we supposed to know this? That is super annoying. It's not like there's a book somewhere where we can read about it. That would make sense, but there isn't. I read everything. I do everything in this game. In these games. So there's no way that I wouldn't know. Okay.
Elementary.
Great. Okay, let me go back to my stream. My stream. Come on. Okay. Okay.
This is dreadful, Holmes. This trunk contains 4 jars in which organs are floating.
Watson, can you tell me at a glance what these organs
Female
are?
organs.
I would say that they are parts of female reproductive organs.
Are these specimens fresh?
No, and I am quite certain of it. From the colour and appearance, I'd say these organs have been in these jars for several months, if not years.
Let's go to Baker Street.
Alright, well, that was fun.
Is there someone here?
Yes.
What's going on, Finley? You seem to be in a panic.
The two police officers wanted to know if someone suspicious had entered here.
Oh.
The Whitechapel killer has struck again, and if I understood correctly, he killed 2 women in the past few hours.
Where?
I don't know. The police didn't tell me anything.
Quick, Holmes. We must catch up with them.
Certainly not, Watson. Mr. Finley, do you know if the doctor had any other pieces of luggage up there apart from this trunk?
1 or 2, I think.
Do you take care of the doctor's laundry?
My wife does laundry for the tenants once a week. The sheets likewise.
Would you be kind enough to let us know as soon as possible if the doctor shows up again?
Certainly. I'm just worried that he won't be back, you see, and I'm annoyed about my keys.
Holmes, I don't follow. The Whitechapel killer is, at this very moment, very close by, and we are just staying put, twiddling our thumbs.
The Whitechapel killer has always been nearby.
Yes.
And what will we do? Go back to the scene of the crime or crimes and mix with the onlookers and trample the crime scenes even more? No, our time will come. Let's return to Baker Street.
Did you see that in the background?
Home, sweet home.
I think there was a cop that was stuck in a loop. I'll have to go back and see that footage.
We were less than 200 feet away from the first victim a few minutes before she was murdered.
I was reading the
We
bottom.
might
of the
even have
screen,
heard the
so you
murderer's
can see
voice.
it.
And we haven't done a thing for the past week.
You're the one not doing anything, Watson. For my part, I have been working. And, as you know, I've made good use of this week by tracking down and verifying all of the solid facts on these 2 murders to write up the notes that are on my desk, read them over again and try to gain a bit of perspective.
Note on the murder of Liz Stride at Dutchfield. This is Dutfield. It's supposed to be Dutchfield's yard. Pretty sure. Certain information that I have collected must be verified. Liz Stride, nicknamed Long Liz, 45 years old, height 5'5", 5 feet 5 inches, thank you. Occasional prostitute. She lived for the past 3 years in a stormy relationship with a certain Kidney, a waterside laborer, 36 years of age, whom she left a few days earlier. She charged him with assault, but failed to appear in court, and the case was thrown out. The victim was discovered dead by one Louis Dimskatz at 1 o'clock in the morning on September 30th. The man's first thought was to verify if his wife in the building next door was still alive before sounding an alarm. The 2 doctors who came at the police's request to the scene of the crime in the moments after the discovery of the corpse put the time of death after 12:46 a.m. Cause of death, hemorrhage due to a throat injury. The weapon was a small knife with a long, blunt edge. The verification of the statement is necessary. Could this wound have been caused by another tool? Neither the body nor the clothes were damaged, soiled, or disturbed by the killer. The right hand was open, stained with blood, and resting on the chest. The left hand was on the ground, partially closed, holding a packet of pastils. The location of the discovery was a courtyard called Dutfield's Yard. Maybe it is Dutfield. Whose doors led onto Burner Street in Whitechapel. The victim was found stretched out on the ground a few inches from the wall of one of the buildings served by this courtyard, the International Working Men's Club. This association, composed mainly of Jews originally from Russia and Poland, were organizing a conference that night on the subject, Why Should Jews Be Socialists? Presided by Mr. Morris Eagle. The meeting ended around 11:30 p.m., but many members remained to debate and sing within the premises of the association. An American present that evening declared to have been in the courtyard at 12:20 a.m. and went into the street and didn't see anything unusual. He then returned back inside the club but his estimation of time spent outside is approximate at best. Okay. 2 witnesses were quoted by the press. Constable Smith, who was doing his rounds in the area on the night in question, and a Hungarian by the name of Schwartz, who made his statement to the police station accompanied by an interpreter because he does not speak English. The transcription of these statements by the press should be treated with caution. It would be advisable, if at all possible, to consult the exact content or context. Observe the clothing worn by the victim as well as her possession at the time of the discovery of the body. Clothing, long black cloth jacket, fur trimmed around the bottom with a red rose and white maidenhair fern pinned to it, black skirt, black crepe bonnet, checked neck scarf knotted on left side, dark brown velveteen bodice, 2 light serge petticoats. I think that's what that says. 1 white chemise, white stockings, spring-sided boots, 2 handkerchiefs. One is noticed to have fruit stains on it. A thimble, a piece of wool wound around a cord. In the pocket in her underskirt, a key, a small piece of lead pencil, 6 large and 1 small button, a comb, a broken piece of comb, a metal spoon, a hook as from a dress, a piece of muslin, 1 or 2 small pieces of paper. And this is the second murder. Note on the murder of Catherine Eddowes. Catherine Eddowes, 46 years old, height 5 feet, occasional prostitute. Oh, she's as tall as me. She had a regular relationship for several years with a John Kelly, a man of no regular employment and about the same age as the victim. The victim was found dead at 1:44 a.m. on September 30th by P.C. Watkins, who was on his rounds. He searched the area by calling to the watchman of the warehouse located some feet from the crime scene. According to the doctor who arrived on the scene at 2:18 a.m., the victim had just been dead for a half hour. Unlikely, but we know from experience how hard it is to precisely establish the time of death when the corpse has been very mistreated. Cause of death, hemorrhage due to a throat wound. The medical examiner also confirmed that additionally, the extractions committed on the corpse were done post-mortem by a right-handed man possessing a long-bladed knife. The victim was subject to numerous mutilations. The victim was found stretched out in a dark corner of Mitre Square, notorious meeting spot for prostitutes and their clients because of this remote, poorly lit location. It should be noted that the victim was freed from the Bishopgate Street Police drunk tank at 1 o'clock in the morning. Mitre Square was visited at 1:30 a.m. by P.C. Watkins coming from Mitre Street, and at 1:42 a.m. by P.C. Harvey coming from Church Passage. The 2 police constables didn't see anything suspicious in the area, but it should be noted that P.C. Harvey didn't enter into Mitre Square, unlike P.C. Watkins. The watchman, who came to lend a hand to Watkins at the time of the discovery of the body, had been awoken during the time of the crime. His door is located a few feet from the spot where the victim was dying and didn't hear anything until the police's call. Firstly, we must note that the clothing worn by Catherine Eddowes was very characteristic. I think in particular the patterned green chintz skirt as well as the white men's vest. A few of her possessions, including the thimble, were found around the corpse. The white apron was found on the corpse with a part missing, thus this missing part previously resewn, thus ensnaring authenticity. Was found at 2:55 a.m. on the night of the murder by P.C. Alfred Long, who states that the object wasn't there at his preceding patrol at 2:20 a.m. The piece of bloody apron was found in the entrance hall leading to the stairs of 108-119 Wentworth Model Dwellings on Goulston Street. At the right of the entrance, just above the apron, was found the following inscription in chalk: "The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing." The Wentworth Model Dwellings building being almost exclusively occupied by Israelites and Goulston Street being the site of a very popular, much frequented market, he decided to erase the inscription before the day broke. Kate Eddowes' belongings. I wonder, did she have a nickname? They usually do. I think nearly all the prostitutes had a nickname. We had Polly and Dark Annie, Long Liz. I don't know. Anyway. Wearing at the time of her murder, black straw bonnet trimmed in green and black velvet with black beads. Black string worn tied to the head, black cloth jacket trimmed around the collar and cuffs with imitation fur, and around the pockets in black silk braid and fur, large metal buttons. Dark green chintz skirt, 3 flounces, brown button on waistband. The skirt is patterned with Michaelmas, daisies, and golden lilies. Man's white vest, matching buttons down front, brown linsey bodice, black velvet collar with brown buttons down the front, gray stuffed petticoat with white waistband, very old green replica. Very green alpaca skirt, worn as undergarment. Very old ragged blue skirt with red flounces. Light twill lining, worn as undergarment with... Oh, did I repeat that? No. White calloused chemise, pair of men's lace-up boots. Mocher laces. Right boot repaired with red thread. One piece of red gauze. Silk worn as a handkerchief. One large white pocket handkerchief. One large white cotton handkerchief with red and white bird's eye border. 2... unbleached solace pockets? I don't know. Tape strings, 1 blue strip, bed ticking pocket, brown ribbed knee stockings darned with white cotton. Possessions, 2 small blue bags, 2 short black clay pipes, 1 tin box containing tea, 1 tin box containing sugar, 1 tin matchbox empty, 12 pieces white rag. Jeez! Does she have all this in her pockets? 12 pieces white rag, 1 piece coarse linen, white, 1 piece of blue and white skirting, 3-cornered, 1 piece red flannel with pins and needles, 6 pieces soap, 1 small tooth comb, 1 white handled table knife. Maybe she had a purse or something. 1 metal spoon, 1 red leather cigarette case with white metal fittings, 1 ball hemp, 1 piece of old white apron with repair, several buttons, and a thimble. Mustard tin containing 2 pawn tickets, 1 in the name of Emily Barrel, 52 White's Row, dated August 31st, 9D for a man's flannel shirt. The other is the name of Jane Kelly of 6 Dorset Street and dated September 28th. 2S for a pair of men's boots. Both addresses are false. Printed handbill, portion of a pair of spectacles, 1 red mitten. Okay. Women's clothing was very complicated back then. They had a lot of different pieces of clothing. I don't even know what half this stuff is.
I have read and reread them.
I don't even think
but give
any
me
of that
something to
information is
do
important.
then. A task where I can get stuck in, because...
Find me a slaughterhouse that will give us exclusive use of its block for an hour. And find me, in your opinion, which common animal shares the most characteristics with humans from a physiological point of view.
Pigs?
I don't even know why I asked that question. Pray, find a dozen fresh pig's heads, Watson. Not big heads, I prefer small ones.
Sows?
That's it, Watson. As soon as you have done that, let me know. I request that you search in Whitechapel. Who knows, perhaps you will learn something about where Dr. Tumblety may be hiding. There is also no shortage of slaughterhouses and pig's heads in those parts.
Pigs' heads, pigs' heads. Okay. Probably fight. This guy used to,
What a ridiculous idea to have asked Holmes for something to do. Where on earth am I going to find what he wants? Perhaps that kind Lucy will be able to help me.
I guess wrong. As to where I'm supposed to go.
I must go to Miss Bella's.
Oh, she's not here. She's at work.
I must go to Miss Bella's.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
Good evening, Lucy. But is something wrong?
Good evening, Dr. Watson. Yes, it's my uncle. He's no longer with us.
Please accept my condolences, miss.
Thank you, Doctor. But why are you here? Can I help you?
My request may sound rather strange, but do you know if there is a butcher's or slaughterhouse in the area where pigs are killed?
Yes, Fletcher's the man. He was a regular client, owner of a little butcher's shop not far. But Miss Bella didn't want him to come, as long as he didn't treat his awful sickness.
Can you point to his shop on my map?
Certainly.
Do you know anything about the 2 latest murders?
Oh, goodness me, no. All the girls in the neighbourhood are terrified. Who will be next? That's what everyone is asking.
Goodbye, Lucy.
Until next time, perhaps, Doctor.
Okay.
Ah, there's Fletcher's butcher shop.
It's closed.
Closed due to illness. If the proprietor is ill, the butcher's block is probably not being used. Perhaps I can use it. Now, where could a sick butcher have got to?
This guy with his music machine. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, to be honest. What? Hold on. We were just here, right? That was a kid before. Wasn't it? That's weird. I don't know why it changed all of a sudden.
Bucks Road.
Bucks Road. Where are you going? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have no sweet clue.
No, I must find Fletcher. If he is really unwell, he can't be here.
Oh, he's at the clinic. Duh. Should put that together.
Yes, if Fletcher is ill, he should be here.
Good evening, Dr. Watson.
Good evening, Dr. Gibbons. I have come to see you because I was wondering if, by any chance, you happen to have a patient by the name of Fletcher, a butcher who would have relinquished his shop due to illness. An illness caught during nocturnal encounters, if you catch my drift.
Fletcher is one of the regulars at the clinic. Mercury treatment against syphilis. A night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury. He left London a fortnight ago for the fresh country air. Why is he of interest to you?
Oh, no reason. I'm more interested in using his shop, only for an hour or so. Would he have left his keys with family in the area?
He has none left, but he must have left Hardiman, the cat's meat seller, to oversee his shop. They're in business. They're good friends.
Do you know where he can be found?
No, but wander around the neighbourhood and listen for his beep beeps. He often passes in front of the clinic. Besides...
Besides what? Do we have anything more to talk about? No. Okay. Oh, there's Big Danny. Are we supposed to interact with her?
It's me that you're looking for, sweetheart.
Actually, no. I am
actually,
looking for the
no.
cat food seller, Hardiman.
Hardiman? Poor Hardiman? It isn't quitting time for him yet. That gives me some time to wander the streets before he shows up, and with him all the cats hereabouts.
Do you know where he lives?
Sure. And for a copper, I might even tell you.
Here are a few coins.
You're too kind, Governor. Well, these days I knows that he lives with his mammy on Hanbury Street, in the same place where Dark Annie bled to death.
Okay.
Why did you call him poor Hardiman?
Bah! He's in grieving, of course. Just a few weeks ago he lost his wife, and 3 months before that his girl, poor fella. He was in tatters. Even came to cry on my shoulder, believe it or not.
Why did you call him...
I'm sorry.
Well, I must leave you. I must go to Hanbury Street.
London Hospital, Workdale Road, Hanbury Street.
This is the building in which poor Annie Chapman was killed. Beep beep.
Don't be alarmed. She's sleeping. It was common for people to sleep in the streets when they were homeless or couldn't afford a place to stay for the night. Where'd he go? Oh, here he is.
Beep beep.
I don't think they're allowed
Hello.
to do that anymore.
Are you Mr. Hardiman? That's me.
In London. I think there's some sort of homeless law or something. where they actually have to put up homeless people. I don't know. I could be just making that up. I feel like that I heard that somewhere.
I am Dr. Watson. I have come to see you about Fletcher's shop. I would like to use it for an hour or two, if you have the keys and your rates are reasonable.
Do you want to operate on someone in the butcher's?
Not at all. One of my friends needs it to
That's
prepare
unsanitary.
pig's heads.
Well, why not? Fletcher certainly wouldn't mind, but there's a problem.
A problem? How so?
This morning, the neighbour above broke his key in the door. The old boy must have already had a drink.
So?
Well, I tried my best to unjam it with Fletcher's spare key, which is pretty thin, and bam, that one broke too.
Hard luck. But if you have the end of the broken key, perhaps it can be fixed.
It must still be upstairs. I didn't pick it up. Fletcher has a key too, so I didn't think it was a problem. Fancy, if I just had another key with a simpler blade, I could copy it. I'm great at odd jobs.
Fine, I will try to find all of that. Well, see you later then.
Goodbye, sir.
Okay, so we need to go up. Where is it? I don't know. Where's the door to where we're going? There it is. Okay, it's upstairs. Oh.
Oh, no. But what a... Oh, how dreadful.
It's meat.
My word. These are innards. Kebabs, the same as Hardiman's. So he prepares his meat here.
There's no way this is sanitary.
This bag contains butcher's equipment. Where can I find a key with a simpler blade? On a worthless door, perhaps.
On a worthless door. What does that mean? Oh, okay. I remember. If you don't know, if you haven't played this before, you wouldn't know, but I know. I don't know why.
This key was left inadvertently. Indeed, there is nothing terribly precious inside. But what a stench.
Yikes. I think it's funny how they get a brand new selection of street people when you walk out of the building. It's just, it completely changes. I wonder how often it changes. I wonder if I could... Oh my goodness, you can! Oh. If you turn around enough, you'll get a new selection of people. See, where'd that girl go? Oh, she's right there. Okay. Anyway. Enough of making you dizzy. Well, just...
Have you found everything I need to remake the key?
There you go. I think you'll manage with all of this.
I'm sure I will, sir. It won't take me long.
Say, I think there's some of your business upstairs.
Oh, you're right. I ain't had the time to sort it out. Sometimes I'm in such a hurry to prepare my meat that I forget to clean up.
But why do it in the stairwell?
Offal bleeds bucket loads, they do, as you've seen. Now, why would I do that in my own lodgings?
Ah, of course. But what about your poor neighbours?
They owe it to me, all the times I've helped them out. And I don't have a shop either.
Pretty sure there's laws against that now.
Say, you sell animal
Just
meat.
chopping up
isn't that
meat
right?
anywhere to sell.
Would you know where I could find a dozen small pig's heads?
The guy who gets me my offal should have some.
I'll pay your day's wages if you meet me at Fletcher's butcher shop in 2 hours with the pig's heads. Here's a little advance.
I'll do my best, Doctor.
The caretaker of another building told us that the place where your mother lives has a reputation for facilitating prostitutes' activities. Is that true?
Sure, the doors are never closed. They come through here like it's Paddington Station.
By the way, I heard about your loss. My condolences.
Ta, sir.
I saw them die slow deaths. My little girl, her face was eaten by the disease.
Thank you, my friend, and please forgive me for bringing up such painful memories.
Go, I must do my rounds, and I will look for what you've asked for.
As for me, I will go and find Holmes, and we will go to the butcher's together. Let's return to Fletcher's butcher shop.
Your heads are on the block inside. Say, you wouldn't be the same chap who bought my whole load the other day?
It's possible, but if you want to continue to do business together, you mustn't speak of my presence in the area to anyone.
Don't worry, my lord. I'll be as quiet as a church mouse.
Okay, so now we're going to go in and do our experiments, but we're going to do that when I come back from my break. Let me see, save. There we go. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so now we're going to perform some experiments on some sows.
Holmes, will you explain the reason and rhyme behind this masquerade?
Elementary. We shall conduct an experiment that will allow us to answer a simple question. Does the type of weapon used by the killer correspond to a specific profession?
Gross.
And here are our sow's heads. Congratulations, Watson.
You're welcome, Holmes, but what do you really want to do? Take up a collection?
There is nothing further to find in this room, Watson. However, I need some knives. Our only hope is behind this door. This wheel is broken and prevents the door from sliding. I need something. This wheel is broken and prevents the door from sliding.
Yeah, I know, I got that. Thanks.
This wheel is broken and prevents the door from sliding.
Okay.
There, this door is slightly raised. There is nothing further to find in this room, Watson. However, I need some knives. Our only hope is behind this door. I need something.
You do?
Elementary.
Perfect.
While I prepare our experiment, could you find me 2 knives? A small one, somewhat larger than a pocket knife, with a large, sharp blade. We'll need it to separate the bones and to cut through the thick skins. Then find me a long knife that's at least 13 inches long, no shorter, that's sharp and has a thick blade.
Fine, Holmes, but I'd like to tell you about Hardiman. Do you know that he prepares his kebabs himself, and...
That he owns butcher's tools and uses offal? That's obvious, Watson. Pray, take my magnifying glass and my rule and get started, Watson. Find me these 2 knives.
Okay. This one and...
With the rule, I must find a large knife.
I think that's not... It's not telling me, though.
Size, 6 inches.
Okay. It only says it for some of them. Why?
Size, 6.5 inches. Size, 8.5 inches.
I forget what size he said to get.
Size, 11 inches. Thanks to the magnifying glass, I can find a small knife that matches Holmes's description. Fragments of cartilage. Large size. Fragments of cartilage. Fragments of cartilage.
Okay. I think that's the right one.
And here are our sow's heads.
Yeah, we did that.
Congratulations, Watson.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Holmes, but what do you really want?
Did I get him?
Here are the knives you asked for. Be careful, they're awfully sharp. Holmes, I must say that this experiment is making me rather uneasy, comparing animal heads to these poor women.
You're right, Watson, but this somewhat shocking experiment may help to end this massacre and save other victims, you can be sure of that. Look, these pigs' heads are still bloody, which will suit our experiment perfectly. I have a pocket knife and a scalpel with me. With the 2 knives you just brought me, we have a similar array of weapons as those probably used by the killer. We saw 3 types of throat wounds on the deceased attributed to this man. Those intended to slit the throat, those intended to decapitate, and the more superficial yet mortal wound that led to the death of the unfortunate victim in Dutfield's yard, Miss Stride. With the help of these 4 knives, we are going to try to recreate these wounds on the pigs' heads and see what we can establish about the weapon or weapons used. We may also be able to rule out Miss Stride as a victim of the killer of the other 3.
Okay. Identification of the crime weapon or weapons. Experiment 1, Experiment 2, Experiment 3. And so we need to determine if the knives that we have here can make the same wounds that were made on other victims.
Let's try to use these weapons on this head to obtain a large deep wound to the throat, like those that were noted on 3 of the 4 victims.
Okay, inflict a large deep wound on the pig's throat. And Sherlock will tell you if it's right or not. This is... There we go. When you put it down.
This little knife is very sharp and has a very wide blade. This pocket knife is very sharp, but its blade is too thin.
So not that one.
The wound is too shallow.
Not that one.
Look, Watson, this knife easily penetrates the flesh. Elementary.
Perfect. Okay. So now experiment 2.
Let's try to decapitate our victim with these tools, knowing that the killer didn't quite manage to do it.
Charming.
Okay. Let's see which knife can decapitate.
Look, Watson, this little knife with a wide base can easily slice the vertebrae of our porcine friend.
So, yes.
The blade of this pocket knife is too thin to reach the vertebrae.
So not that one. It
With a
doesn't really
scalpel,
matter how
the
you cut
wound
it.
is too shallow. This knife with a long blade easily slices the flesh, but cannot dislocate the vertebrae.
Okay. Doesn't he go elementary?
Let's try to decapitate our victim with these tools, knowing that the killer didn't quite manage to do it.
Charming.
Here, let me do this again.
The blade of this pocket knife is too thin to reach the vertebrae. Look, Watson, this little knife with a wide base can easily slice the vertebrae of our porcine friend.
So that one wouldn't be correct because you would be able to decapitate the victim.
With a scalpel, the wound is too shallow. This knife with a long blade easily slices the flesh, but cannot dislocate the vertebrae. Elementary.
There we go. Okay.
Let's see if these knives can inflict a mortal wound in a situation where a single quick blow is given. The scenario in question is that of Dutfield's yard.
Okay.
Look, Watson, the blade sinks easily into the flesh. In using the cutting edge of this pocket knife's blade, I can scrape the skin.
Does that mean yes or no?
This particularly sharp blade can make a deep gash with one quick slice. cuts through the flesh easily as the blade is so sharp. Elementary.
Yep. All right. So, what knife is capable of doing all three? So it's going to have a check mark in all three of the experiments. And there's only one knife that is checked in all three experiments. And that's this one.
That's it, Watson. The big knife.
The big knife.
With respect to the opinion of the medical examiners who noted that a butcher's knife with a long blade would have caused the eviscerations on some of the victims, we can assume, Watson, that he only used this type of weapon as it is capable of inflicting all of the wounds
Jack the Ripper is
displayed.
probably a butcher.
Furthermore, the Dutfield's Yard murder remains attributable, for the moment, to the Whitechapel killer, if we are able to explain why the murderer used his knife in a different manner. Why not go there now? We will try to reenact the killer's actions that night. Our first objective will be to clarify one way or another the statements of Constable Smith as well as this Hungarian by the name of Schwartz. We must also try to find out more about the International Working Men's Educational Club, underneath which the murder took place, perhaps at the Wasp's Nest.
Yes, let's go to Dutfield's Yard or wherever, but quickly. I am in urgent need of fresh air.
Let's go to the Wasp's Nest.
Okay.
Don't forget that Bluto may still be hiding here. I will try to find out more inside. You, Watson, must intercept the policeman on his rounds. Given the hour and a bit of luck, it will be Smith. Try to get some information from him.
Understood, Holmes.
Hello.
I know you. You're Squibby's guardian angel. You weren't dressed the same last time, but I don't forget a face. No hard feelings, eh? Join me in a glass?
Your Jack the Ripper is on everyone's lips and written in all of the papers. You must be awfully proud of yourself. You have skill, that's for certain. It's a shame you use it to mask rather than discover the truth.
You better believe that I'm going to find out who it is. I got a hold of old Schwartz's interpreter. You know, the Hungarian who saw Liz Stride get it. Doesn't speak a word of English. And when he went round to the station, another Jew went along to interpret. I found that bloke, and he repeated everything that had been said at the station. It won't be long before I find these fellows.
Why do you say these fellows? Were there several of them?
Do you not read the papers, or what? Well, given the rubbish that you read sometimes. Let me explain. At 12:45 a.m., Schwartz goes down Burner Street towards Fairclough, on the side of the road where the Workers' Club is. A bit further from there, just near Dutfield Yard's wooden doors, a chap and a lady are arguing. The Star said that the bloke wanted to push the girl into Dutfield's yard, but the translator told me that Schwartz saw him pulling her towards the road. She doesn't want to follow. He grabs her by the shoulders and throws her to the ground. She falls. Bawls a bit, but not too loudly. Old Schwartz is scared, crosses to the other side, but continues in the same direction. The bloke with the girl notices him and yells, "Lipsky!" At the same time, another bloke at the corner of Fairclough and Burner who was lighting his pipe gets in on the action. He starts coming towards Schwartz in a menacing way, and Schwartz takes to his heels, doesn't see anything else. Once he finds out that a woman got herself killed, he went to testify, and identified Long Liz Stride as the woman he saw getting thrown about. So there were definitely two blokes, mate. But why am I telling you all this?
In vino veritas.
In vino veritas. I feel like I know what that means, and I don't remember what it means.
I'll take my leave then, Mr. Bulling.
That's right. Till next time.
In vino veritas. I feel like I want to look up what that means. Let me see. In vino veritas. Also written as... Okay. It means in wine there is truth. Okay. Thanks. I think he pretty much answered his question by saying, "'Cause you're drunk." Alright. Okay. Great. Cool. What are we doing? I have no idea.
If you're looking for some company
I'm missing some information.
I am? What am I supposed to be doing? Okay.
A draft, my good man.
Here, sir.
Tell me, was it not a mere stone's throw away from here that the Whitechapel killer struck last week?
That'd be Jack the Ripper, that's his name. Slit the throat of a working girl in a small courtyard over there behind them big wooden doors.
Below the Workers' Club?
The very spot, below Lipsky and Co. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack was one of them, if you catch my drift.
Lipsky is a word for it's a word for Jew.
Lipsky and Company. Do you mean to say that someone called Lipsky runs this club?
Nah, it's just that it's full of Jews. In Whitechapel, we call them all Lipskys, like that Lipsky who killed that girl in Batty Street last year.
Oh, really?
Last year, a Jew named Israel Lipsky killed a lass who was 6 months pregnant by making her drink acid. One trial and one protest by rabbis later, and he was hanging. By those who don't much like him, the Jews are called Lipskys.
So
Is
it's
the
a
term
derogatory
Lipsky is
term,
used to refer
gotcha.
to the Jews in the area, and is this club frequented by Jews?
You got it. Socialist Jews even. They spend their evenings hollering, singing. I've seen them spitting on the bosses.
Okay.
And you know the victim?
No more her than any other. The working girls don't drum up business too much in this street. They need a reason to end up here.
Okay.
Very well. Goodbye.
Cheers.
First and foremost, I must find P.C. Smith.
I bet it's this guy.
Good evening, Constable.
Good evening, sir.
I am Dr. Watson. Would you happen to be P.C. Smith, the man who patrols this beat?
That's me. And you work with the famous Sherlock Holmes, don't you? What can I do for you?
I believe you were on duty the night when the murder took place here. You would certainly be able to confirm a few details, such as the time of death that the medical examiner gave.
It's just that I wasn't there when the body was discovered. I don't think I can help you.
But I was told that you had seen the victim that very night.
Indeed. But it was before the murder. I saw her, not far from here. She was talking to a man. It was around 12:30 or 12:35 a.m.
What did this man look like?
I only saw him from behind, really. He was wearing a short black outfit, a small felt hat like a cap in a dark colour, and a white collar. He seemed to be a respectable type. He was carrying a packet in his hand wrapped in newspaper, about 18 inches long and about 6 inches wide.
His outfit reminds me of someone that I know. Was he a large man, on the older side?
I don't think so, no. Even though I only saw him from behind, I would say that he was barely 30 years old, or even less. Say 28, or even less. 26 years old, and 5 foot 8 inches tall at the very most. He had a small dark brown moustache and an olive complexion, I would say, but once again, I only caught a brief glimpse of his face in 3/4 profile.
Okay.
Nobody else saw this man?
I discussed this previously with Mr. Eagle, the president of the Workers' Club. That night he returned around 12:40 a.m. to the club. He used the passage through Dutfield's yard to get into the club because the main door was locked. He can attest that he didn't see anyone else in the passage at that time, but wasn't really paying attention to who else might have been in Burner Street itself. He was listening to the song coming from the club. In short, no one else saw him.
Well, thank you for having satisfied my curiosity, my friend.
A
Yeah, that
fine
was
evening to you, Doctor.
Really detailed. Are we going to actually go to
Dutfield's yard.
Okay, and this is where she was murdered.
Your interrogation of P.C. Smith has proven to be very shrewd and of great interest. Thanks to the information I've managed to gather and that you were able to read in my notes in Baker Street, Watson, we can recreate what happened that fateful night at this location, Dutfield's Yards to be precise, the site of Liz Stride's murder.
Okay. Reenactment of the facts. Dutfield's yard murder. Okay, this is really hard to read. Midnight, the club meeting ends.
Midnight, the Socialist Club meeting ends. The members, mainly Jewish men, gradually begin to leave the club in little groups or alone.
Okay, 12:20 a.m. The American goes out for some air. No one is in the street.
12:20 a.m. The American leaves the Socialists Club for some fresh air. The street is deserted.
12:30 to 12:35 a.m. PC Smith sees Lestrade speaking to a man with a packet, I think it says. Or in a jacket or something. I can't read that. That's not important.
12:30 to 12:35 a.m. Smith notices Liz Stride talking to the man with the package.
Okay. 2:40 a.m. Mr. Eagle, the president of the Workers' Club, enters the club by the passage in Dutfield's yard.
12:40 a.m. Eagle, the president of the club, enters the Workers' Club via the passageway through Dutfield's yard. He passed through Dutfield's yard. If Liz Stride had already been killed, he would have had to walk over her. The murder, therefore, had not yet happened.
But did he see them in the passage at all? 12:43 a.m. Israel Schwartz passes by Dutfield Yard, and something about Liz Stride. I don't know, I can't read it. It's really hard to do this without covering up all the other ones.
12:43 a.m. Israel Schwartz passes by Dutfield's yard and witnesses the attack on Liz Stride.
Okay. 12:44, Israel Schwartz changes sidewalks. The attacker sees him and cries Lipsky.
12:44 a.m. Schwartz crosses to the other side of the road. The attacker sees him and yells Lipsky. The attacker must have shouted to his accomplice at the end of the road, Lipsky, indicating at Schwartz using his head in an attempt to scare off this undesirable.
12:45, Israel Schwartz flees, followed for a few feet by this man.
12:45 a.m. Schwartz runs away, followed for a short distance by this man.
And then 1 o'clock a.m., Mr. Damischultz wants to enter with his cart pulled by a pony.
1 a.m. Mr. Diemschutz wants to enter with his cart, but the pony refuses. We know that the murder took place between 12:45 and 1 a.m. Mr. Diemschutz, therefore, must have disturbed the killer. Let's place Liz Stride's murder on the timeline, Watson. 12:45 to 1 a.m., the murder of Liz Stride. It took place in this very spot, as the traces of blood were very confined. We will come back to this point in a few moments to elaborate on what could have happened. Well, we are still missing certain information in order to finish this investigation, Watson.
Okay, so we gotta look at the details here.
Watson, imagine the victim laid down there on the ground. The throat, there is but one clean cut, slightly slanted downwards.
And they used actual pictures from the actual women who were murdered. And these are impossible to read, so I'm going to have to pull up the walkthrough. Well, let's get all the details first.
The throat, there is.
She wasn't strangled this time.
The ground is muddy. Her right hand, it is bloody, as is her wrist.
So she put her hand up to her throat.
Her left hand, it is closed around a bag of pastils.
He always distracts them first before he kills them, and there's evidence of that is that there's always something in their hand. Is that not everything? Her clothes are clean. Is that something that I'm supposed to talk
Her
about?
knees and dress, they are clean.
Right, there we go. They didn't have relations on the ground. Is that everything that I'm supposed to know? I don't know. That might be. Deductions. Let's get these on here. Alright, there's only one page. Okay, so the knees and the bottom of the dress are clean. The ground is muddy. The victim was careful. The victim struggled on the ground. The victim didn't struggle on the ground. Didn't struggle on the ground. The victim was like what? I don't know. The victim was killed upright. That's what I know. Lestrade had her back to the killer. Lestrade had Lestrade and her murderer were standing. That's the one. Maybe. Let's make sure. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. They were standing. The point is that she was killed while standing. That's the point we're trying to make here. The wound. Starting from the right and descending, so it was slashed down to the side. The blow was given with the right hand. There's only one wound, and it proved to be fatal. The victim had her neck wrung. There's but one superficial wound to the neck. No, that's that one. The murderer struck. I don't know. The murderer struck from something. The murderer struck from his height. That would make sense. Lestrade shorter than Lestrade's killer is shorter than the victim. Lestrade's killer is taller than the victim. Lestrade's killer is the same height as the victim. And this one, L. Stride's killer is right-handed. L. Stride's killer is ambidextrous. L. Stride's killer is left-handed, right-handed. The murderer is something strong. The murderer is weak. The murderer is a lumberjack. Strong. The killer is a weak man. The killer's a strong man. The killer's a woman. Strong man. Bloody right hand and wrist. The something. The victim was bleeding from her nose. The victim hurt her hand, maybe? The victim had her hand on her throat. That's what I assumed. The knife blade used in Lestrade's murder was thin. The murderer... I don't know. The knife blade used in Lestrade's murder was thick? No? Thin.
We have two possibilities. The first is that Liz Stride's killer and the attacker, seen by Schwartz, were one and the same man. The second is that Liz Stride meets a client. After some discussion, they head towards Dutfield's yard to do their business. As soon as they arrive, the attacker appears while his accomplice keeps watch. Schwartz's arrival dissuades the two men from lingering. They leave the area and leave Liz Stride in a tense state, but glad to have kept her client. He will be her murderer. Both hypotheses are possible, but an incongruous detail will serve to corroborate one of them. An incongruous detail that we were able to establish regarding the Hanbury Street murder. Which one would that be, Watson?
Depends on what you mean by
Look at the victim
incongruous.
carefully, Watson, and tell me the link between the murder of Liz Stride and those of Nichols and Chapman.
What is something that they all have in common? It's what I talked about earlier. They're all holding
The
something.
bag of pastels, Holmes.
That's how it
A
distracts
bag
them.
of pastels. Indeed, Watson. If this woman had to defend herself against an attacker, why would she have held onto this bag in her hand? It didn't fall because this woman's hand tensed at the moment when she fell to the ground. Therefore, Watson, we know the killer distracted his victim's attention by making them take something out of their pockets. Why didn't he slit her throat like the others? He must have feared a struggle with this strong-willed woman. Why didn't he eviscerate her? Because Louis Diemschutz arrived.
Do you think the Whitechapel killer is behind this murder, Holmes?
Yes.
Yes, and now this murder has been linked to its rightful perpetrator, it will take on deeper meaning when we have examined the facts from that night. Let's go to Mitre Square, where Catherine Eddowes was killed. And make haste, Watson, as we have another murder to commit in 40 minutes. Here we are, Watson, Mitre Square. It took us a mere 20 minutes to get here. If the killer left Dutfield's yard around 1 o'clock, as we assume, he would have arrived here at around 1:20 a.m.
So it took them 20 minutes.
We know that
Okay.
Catherine Eddowes' body was discovered at 1:44 a.m. Catherine was released from prison around 1 o'clock, but we have no information as to what she could have been doing until her death. This place has 3 possible ways out. Let's see where they lead. As a precaution, I brought an old map of the area with me. It will help us get our bearings.
Let's hurry, Holmes. This neighborhood makes me ill at ease.
Okay, so we need to explore the 3 entrances to Mitre Square. We have from Mitre Street here, we have St. James Passage here, and we also have Church Passage there. So we need to go to all 3 locations.
Church Passage. It must be opposite the Imperial Club at 16 to 17 Duke Street. Let's go to the end of this lane, Watson.
Jeez, creepy.
Hello, you must be Abraham Solomonovich, am I right?
Yes, that's me. But I know you. You brought a lad to my place to take care of a cat, and I loaned you my mask.
That's me. May I present?
Dr. Watson, of course. Delighted. And you? I have known for a few days that you are a detective by the name of Sherlock Holmes. Is that so?
You don't miss a thing, do you? It was the children who gave me away, am I right?
They didn't want to, but I gained their confidence by offering them a small comb and half a cake.
They made a good deal out of it, so I don't blame them. However, I must request, as a personal favour, that you do not reveal my identity.
You have my word. Curiosity is just killing me, as you may have guessed. Would it be breaking an oath to confide in me the nature of the investigation that you are leading?
Does this spot where we are now in Mitre Square mean anything to you?
A demon lives in this city, Mr. Holmes. These unmentionable acts degrade the human race and put the Jewish community in terrible danger.
Lots of rumours are circulating, but they are but rumours. I see you're leaving the Imperial Club. It's a stone's throw away from Mitre Square, and the 2 recent murders were most probably discussed in there. Do you know if anyone from the club saw or heard anything that night?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. That night, 3 members of our club saw a woman talking to a man at the very spot where we are standing, a few minutes before the body was found at the end of this passage.
Fantastic, Holmes.
Calm yourself, Watson. There is nothing at the moment to suggest it was the victim. Can we meet these members?
I am afraid that won't be possible. As soon as the police heard the evidence of these men, they were sworn to silence.
I understand.
But you are working for the good, and I must tell you what I know. One of the 3 men, my friend Joseph, left that night with 2 other members of the Imperial Club, Harry and another Joseph. It was around 1:35 a.m., perhaps a bit earlier.
When Joseph, not my friend, but the other, the Aldgate butcher, exited, he saw a man and a woman in discussion at this very spot where we are.
These men must have been about 16 feet away from the couple.
That's about right. So Joseph, the butcher, said to the other two, while pointing at the couple, "Look, I don't like going home alone when I see this kind of people here." My friend Joseph looked at them without noticing anything strange and didn't understand what he meant. They had the look of two rather unkempt people, but no more than that.
After the murder, did these three men tell the police what they had seen?
Not quite. Harry stated that he hadn't seen the couple. As for Joseph, the butcher, even though he was the one who commented on them and pointed them out, said that he couldn't remember anything except that the man was about 3 inches taller than the woman, who was 5 feet tall, no more. My friend Joseph, on the other hand, did his best to cooperate with the police.
And what did your friend Joseph say? What did this man and woman look like?
The man must have been 30 years old, about 5 foot 7 inches, light complexion, and a fair moustache. He wore a loose, dark jacket, a grey cap, and a red scarf around his neck. But he said that he only saw him for a brief instant, and it would be impossible to recognize him.
And the woman?
He only saw her from behind. She had her hand on the man's stomach and seemed to be pushing him. He said that he remembered that she was small, was wearing a black jacket and a black bonnet. After his testimony, the police took him to see the clothing of the deceased, and Joseph said that they looked identical to those of the woman he had seen. Like I already said, he only glanced at the two, as he was headed with the others in the direction of Aldgate.
One final question. The Imperial Club is a Jewish club, isn't that correct?
Indeed.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Solomonovich.
Bah, it was nothing. We must at all cost prevent this demon from striking again, and the police seem to have some difficulty in doing that. I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Holmes.
Okay.
Closed.
Okay. Alright, so now we're gonna go check out the other passages.
This is Mitre Street, from where Watkins, the constable who found the body, came. I have no reason to go that way.
Okay, and then the other passage is over here. Right? Yeah.
This dark and narrow passage leads to St. James's Place. Well, let's find the spot where Edow's body was discovered.
Okay. So, she was particularly mutilated. She's still not the worst to get it of all the victims. But he did a number on her, so, it's not a pleasant sight. So if you're not interested in seeing that, well, I suggest you, not watch this particular part. It's not that bad, honestly. It's really not. But, you know, if... I'm just preparing you. It's a little more gruesome than the other murders have
Watson,
been.
we are now in the exact spot where poor Eddowes tragically ended her days.
This spot is very dark, Holmes.
That is probably why our murderer chose it. Let's see. We'll need a lantern.
Okay. So we're not going to see her body just yet. Unless, can we?
Now then, we will need a lantern.
Okay. We will. But we're going to see what we can see first.
Turn on the light, Watson.
Oh,
Take the lantern, Watson.
Okay. What do you want me to do? Oh, now we're looking at her. Got it. Okay. Yeah, it's a little more gruesome than the others had been.
The head is turned towards the left. The murderer must have been on the right side of his victim. Let's look at her from the front.
Yeah. Yikes.
The eyelids were cut off.
Yep, her eyelids were cut, her nose was
The
cut.
nose was cut. There is but one wound, Watson. It goes from the left side and descends in a slight oblique towards the right side. The cheeks were slashed to make them thinner. There is but one wound, Watson.
Okay. She wasn't strangled. Alright, I'll get off her now.
The main incision goes from the sternum all the way down to the groin. The murderer opened this abdomen as if it were an animal carcass. A kidney was removed. The uterus was removed.
Okay. And we don't have to see that, thank goodness.
A thimble is located right beside one of the victim's hands, just like Chapman's sachet of pills and Stride's pastils. Do these objects spread out by the victim remind us of anything, Watson?
They do indeed.
Part of this apron is missing. We will follow up on that shortly. The inside of the thighs is clean. Once again, there were no sexual relations between the victim and her murderer.
Okay, I think that's it. Right? Oh,
These intestines were pulled out altogether to grant access to the abdomen.
okay.
My goodness, Holmes, it was a slaughter.
Understand, Watson, that our killer had neither the time nor the conditions to bother with the niceties. He had no more than 7 or 8 minutes at most to kill the woman, open her up, and all the while in total darkness.
Holmes, it's a woman, a poor victim you're talking about.
Consider all the time this man lost and the risks that he actually took by cutting the victim's face and the lower abdomen in around 20 precise spots, especially the lungs and the
He was
liver.
probably angry
These attacks,
because
which
of his
I
failure
consider
with the
gratuitous,
previous victim.
are in fact nothing of the sort and have as much sense as the removal of the organs. Watson, we must now consult our timeline. We began in Dutfield's yard, but this time we will try to recreate the actions of certain people, in this case, those of the 2 policemen.
Okay. 1:30 a.m. PC Watkins enters Mitre Square. 1:30?
1:30 a.m. PC Watkins didn't see the corpse while on his rounds. If PC Watkins did his rounds properly, and there is no reason to doubt this was the case, as he discovered the corpse a quarter of an hour later, the murder hadn't yet taken place, and there was no one in Mitre Square, unless they were hidden among the shadows. Enter Mitre Square via Mitre Street, Watson, and stop and try to see me with the lantern. I will be where poor Edow's corpse was.
So we're gonna see if we can see him. I'm gonna keep going till we see him. Right?
Enter Mitre Square via
Oh.
Mitre Street, Watson, and stop and try to see me with the lantern. I will be where poor Edow's corpse was.
I am, though.
I have no reason to go that way.
Should I go to the center and then look?
I see you,
There we go.
Holmes.
Perfect, Watson. Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
The murder hasn't yet taken place. Is that 1:30?
Very good, Watson. Thus we can categorically state that the murder had not yet occurred at 1:30.
1:35 a.m. A man and a woman are having a discussion at the entrance of Church Passage. What? I can't see it. I can't tell what time it is.
1:35 a.m. A man and a woman are arguing at the entrance of Church Passage. The man came from Aldgate.
1:42 a.m. PC Harvey arrives in Mitre Square. 1:42.
1:42 a.m. PC Harvey arrives in Mitre Square. It should be noted, Watson, that the constable didn't enter Mitre Square. He could not have seen the corpse lying on the ground. But would he have been able to see a man sitting or standing? Go to the church passage entrance, then come back and try to see me while holding your lantern. I will stay at the spot where the victim was discovered.
Okay, so church passage, which is this one. Oh, we started that way. Gotcha.
I see you, Holmes.
You had to proceed into the square in order to see me, something Harvey didn't do. It is possible that the killer was still there. 1:42 a.m. PC Harvey arrives at Mitre Square but does not go in. The murderer may well have still been there.
1:44, the body is discovered.
1:44 a.m. The body is discovered. Let's put the murder of poor Eddowes on the timeline, Watson.
So the murder is between 45 and 44?
1:35 and 1:42 a.m.
Gotcha.
The murder would appear to have taken place between these times, that is to say, within 7 minutes.
Agreed, Holmes. But does this really prove that our killer had the time to perpetrate these two murders?
Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
Sherlock and Watson took 20 minutes to go from Dutfield's yard to Mitre Square.
There, Watson. We are now certain that the murderer really had the time to commit these two murders.
Incredible!
Let's look at our deduction board, Watson.
Okay. No, sorry. Deductions. Okay. Yeah, see, that's Catherine Eddowes. Did we... what? And we have ones up here, too. Okay, the wound in the neck goes from right and slightly oblique to the left. It's behind the victim. The blow was something. Wanted to decapitate the victim? I don't know if that's true. No. The murder is a bit shorter than the victim. The wound is superficial. Let's tried. Murder is right-handed. Same man as Lestrade. I don't know. C. Eddowes and Lestrade murder may be the same, one and the same. I don't know what this one says. The murderer cut open the stomach in a surgical manner. The murderer opened C. Eddowes' abdomen like an animal. That one. I don't know what that says at all. Very orderly, cold and orderly. The objects are by chance. Like, so murder is unfeeling and organized. The something, a woman. I don't know. The items belong to the victim. Oh, the items are that of a woman. Belong to the victim. A Eddowes murderer is a something. The murderer searched Eddowes. That's that one. A thimble was found in her hand. Murderer lost the thimble. Thimble's in her hand. She struggled. It was in her hand. I have no idea what that says. I have no idea what that says. Oh, her kidney was removed. Cheeks were slashed. That's probably all, listing all her injuries. Edos. What? Murderer did not know anatomy. He clearly did. He knows anatomy.
This spot is making me nauseous. Can we not head back, Holmes?
We certainly can't, Watson. We have one final point to address. Do you remember the piece of white apron that was missing just now?
Mm-hmm.
It was found just a few steps away from here, at the entrance of a building. That's where we must go.
Imperial Club, Mitre Square.
Let's go.
Street.
There's the spot, Watson. By night, Goulston Street is deathly silent, which will permit us to carry out a fair few experiments. Let's find the entrance where the piece of the victim's apron and the mysterious chalk message were found.
And this really happened too. They really did find a message in chalk by the.
Look at these signs, Watson. We are in the Jewish High Street. There's the spot where the apron and the message were found by P.C. Long. Now, let's recreate the scene. Remember, Watson, it was raining that night. Find me something with which to mimic raindrops hitting this wall while I write something with my chalk.
The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. But what does it mean?
I mean, someone has a.
Have you
bone
found
to pick
something
with
for us
the
to pour
Jews.
water from, Watson?
Find a container and some water. Let me remind you that it's night time and the street is deserted, Holmes.
Okay. Can we go up there?
I have no reason
No.
to go that way.
That's kind of interesting.
That may come in handy. Who knows?
I need to grab stuff.
An old wooden pole. A merchant probably threw it out. I have no reason to go that way. That may come in handy. Who knows? A watering can. That's what I need. But I can't reach it.
And now I need to find water. Oh, there he is. Go the wrong way.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
If this message were written by the killer, then it would have been lying in this entrance for up to 35 minutes before being discovered. Let's find out in what state it must have been. This message could not have withstood an entire night in the rain. During the investigations carried out on the night of the double murder, P.C. Hulse inspected the entrances of this street around 2:20 a.m. and confirmed to have seen nothing out of the ordinary. At 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes later, P.C. Long found Catherine Edow's piece of apron and the message in chalk. This message would not have withstood a whole night in the rain, as had I continued to water it for a little longer, I would certainly have erased it. It was written, therefore, at the moment when the piece of apron was dumped. This substantiates P.C. Hulse's statement, which stated he had seen neither of these during his rounds. After its discovery, it was guarded and protected from the rain, which was subsiding, which explains why it was still legible when it was erased at 5:30. My dear Watson, when you met P.C. Smith on his rounds in the street, where was he? On the pavement or in the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road, Holmes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Good. You will go down the street with your lantern as if you were a policeman on patrol, using Smith's position as a guide. As soon as you see the entrance where I used the watering can, tell me if you see anything.
Okay.
No, you aren't in the right spot with the lamp, Watson.
There, Holmes. From here, I can see something written.
Can you read it?
No.
Do you see the white rag, Watson?
Yeah, I do.
I see something on the ground, but I'm not sure if it's what you were talking about.
P.C. Long, who found the piece of apron, was examining the interior of the entrances, and yet nobody would have predicted that this piece of material would be discovered on the very night of the murder by a policeman on patrol.
What are you trying to get at, Holmes?
Let's look at this message on the wall, Watson. The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. In other words, the Jews were possibly blamed for nothing, but that will no longer be the case. Reading this message naturally begs one question. What would that be, Watson?
Why?
Indeed, Watson, why? For what reason would one have the right to blame the Jews in the future? Remember, Liz Stride was killed near a club for socialist Jews, Eddowes not far from a synagogue and the Imperial Club, and finally, this piece of apron dropped here. This building is occupied by Jewish families. The killer really did go out of his way to incriminate the Jews living in the area.
It's a bit obvious, Holmes.
Yes, but with the rumours, Watson, the author of this message would have received a response to his strategy.
You are right, Holmes. So perhaps it's a good thing this message was erased.
Whoever took the decision to do this is a man of great wisdom and courage. Let's return to Baker Street, Watson. I have some pipes to smoke to help me think more clearly.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Baker Street. Home, sweet home.
So, Jack the Ripper wrote that message, and so Jack the Ripper has an issue with the Jewish community. That's an important clue as to who he might be.
I had nightmares all night, Holmes. As for you, I bet you didn't get a wink of sleep, did you? It's this chalk message business, isn't it?
Among other things.
And this lunatic is still running free. If only we knew what he looked like.
But we do know, Watson.
Though.
We have a fairly accurate description.
I must have missed an episode of your adventures, Holmes. Not only have I heard you discredit the value of our eyewitnesses, but the few descriptions we do have don't seem to correspond.
An inaccurate account can regain its value if we can discover why and to what extent the truth must be rewritten. We've learned a great many things tonight, and I'm able to tell you what our man looks like.
Really?
Yes, and we're going to need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins, my worker's costume, my 3 full wigs, one of your worn garments, yes, that can be used for the workman's outfit, and one of your old suits. Oh, and my deerstalker, the one I never wear, but everyone seems to think I wear day and night.
Around for some clothes. We're gonna do more experiments. Excuse me. I'm hungry. My tummy's making noise.
We shall place our mannequins here, Watson.
Wow. That opened too slowly for that to yield nothing.
A wig. This will come in handy.
Do we have any more mannequins? Okay, where's the third mannequin?
So, as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the 3 other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
We're missing a mannequin. Looks like we're missing a hat, too.
I have no reason to go that way.
That's not helpful. How did I miss one? How do you miss a mannequin? Oh, there we go. There we go. Apply the height, the age, and the clothing to the mannequins, basing yourself on the 3 correct witnesses. Okay, so we're going to pull some information. From here. And then oh, actually, when we were talking to him, and then who else? Is it Tom Bowling? Am I right about that? Or... okay. Okay, yeah, that one's the one that's wrong. I don't know what conversation that would be. Or is it a document? Oh, you know what? That's probably from Annie's murder. All the way back at the beginning. No. She actually saw him.
Bravo, Watson. There are our 3
Talking
witnesses.
Okay, so based on what he said, she looked like he said 5'7", didn't he? No.
There is an error, Watson.
Oh.
Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
5'3".
Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonovich's friend is incorrect in at least one point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5'7" tall.
Right.
The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5'3".
Right.
Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them.
Okay. He said the age was 30. He said that his hair was fair. I just don't want to have to read this because I can't read it. Man or woman in discussion at the very spot where we are. It's about So Joseph, the butcher, said the other two were pointing the couple. Look, I don't like. My friend Joseph looked at them without saying anything strange. About 3 inches taller than the woman, who's 5 feet tall, no more. Man must have been 30 years old, of light complexion, fair mustache. He wore a dark jacket, a gray cap. And he said that he's wearing a black outfit, a cap in dark color. Maybe, I don't know. And a white collar. He seemed to be a respectable type, carrying a package in his hand. He's 26. He was small, with dark hair. Five feet. Okay. And then she said, at least 40 years old, a little taller than the woman, 5 feet 3 inches, so 40, 5 feet 3 inches. Brown, deerstalker hat. Oops. Dark coat, working class, dark hair and mustache, dark face. Looked like a foreigner. Okay, so okay, 5 foot 3 inches.
As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or two after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other two.
And then 40 years old.
Perfect, Watson.
Wait, this is the only one that's right? Huh? What? How is this wrong? Oh, hold on.
Excellent. Now, on to the next step.
Okay. Oh, I think we need to just put this up. Oh. No? Oh, he doesn't have hair. Oh my goodness.
Bravo, Watson. Our mannequins have been recreated based on the correct accounts. Now, Watson, let's see in what ways these statements differ and how the witnesses could have been mistaken. Let's look at these wigs and moustaches. Let's start by taking the first Joseph's testimony, who saw the man head-on in a well-lit spot and in which he noted fair hair. Now, let's consider the same person, but in the lighting and angle of the other two witnesses, in the darkness of night with poor artificial lighting from above. Put out the light, Watson. Thus, poor lighting and a backlit subject can affect our perception of shades and colours. The wigs from Abraham's mannequin took on the same colour as the other two. The three testimonies, therefore, don't contradict one another, and we can apply the same facial hair to all 3 mannequins. Turn on the light, Watson.
So they're blonde.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Well done, Watson. With regards to the murderer's hair, the 3 witnesses should agree on Abraham's testimony. As Joseph is the only one who saw our man in full light, his hair must therefore be fair. You see, Watson, it is hard to draw objective conclusions when one is an eyewitness to an event. This leads us to reconsider the various statements regarding the supposed age of the man. Even if you are face to face with someone in full light and for a period of several hours, to what extent can you determine their exact age? And even more so if you observe them for only a few seconds and or from behind. We must allow some flexibility when considering our witnesses' statements, but always scientific flexibility.
Okay. So, a tolerance of 3 to 5 years. So, determine the age range thanks to the tolerance of years indicated by Sherlock Holmes. So we're supposed to put this one at 25, 24, 23, 22. And 35, 36, 37, 38. No? Am I wrong about that? Or am I supposed to go further in? 28. And then 35, 34, 33, 32. Huh? It's supposed to go green when you got it, I think. Oh wait, this is 3 years. Wait. This is 5 years. So maybe this is supposed to be 4 years. So then 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. And then 31, 32, 33, 34. There we go. And then 3 years. 29, 28, 27.
Perfect, Watson.
Okay. So 7 to 10 years. I don't know what makes him think these numbers. I don't know. So these are 10 years. So we're gonna go for 9 years. Right? Oh wait, no. Okay, and then 8 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 7 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Perfect, Watson.
And then 7 to 10 years again. So 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There we are. Magnificent.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Now that we have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Okay, so what age is common with all 3 of them? Like, this is the only one that's age 25, so that one's not it. 26, 27. In fact, there aren't any 20s over here. What about 30s? We have 35, 35. Not 35 here. Okay, 34, 34. Nope, 33, 33. Oh, it's 33. It's probably 33. Whoops.
Perfect, Watson. Within a margin of 1 year, Watson, the age of our murderer is 33 years.
But the man described by Smith was dressed respectably, whereas the other 2 were poorly dressed.
Indeed, but Whitechapel's respectively could quite easily describe the Sunday bests that all lower-class men own. Now, let's place ourselves in the shoes of Liz Stride's killer. He has just slain his victim and sees Louis Diemschutz discover her body. Our killer is at great risk if he stays in the area. He therefore gets away from this spot. But he wants to kill again. However, he might have been spotted in the area before having committed the murder by a constable on his round, perhaps, who managed to get his description. What do you think the killer will do?
Change his clothes, change his appearance, right? What will Jack the Ripper do after committing the first murder in Dutfield's yard and before committing the second in Mitre Square? Find an accomplice to flee and buy a disguise and wait a while on the premises and throw his clothing in a sewer or trash bin and something home or to a safe location and enter a pub and go to a safe location and nothing. It is not he who committed the second murder. Look for another victim. Commit the second murder in his place. Wait a moment before searching for another victim. Change and go look for another victim. Escape without being recognized. Go as quickly as possible. Go home to a safe location and change and go look for another victim.
Go back home or to a safe location, change his clothes and leave again in search of another victim.
It's the only possible explanation, Watson. The man returned to the safety of his lodgings and then decided to go out again with new clothes and repeat his sinister nocturnal work. That's how the discrepancies between the witnesses with regards to clothing can be explained.
What a cold-blooded animal.
And what determination! Powerful motives are pushing this man. Thus, we can conclude that the respectable man with the package may very well have been seen by the two Josephs.
Even if it is just a mannequin, it's giving me goosebumps. But have we really made any progress, Holmes? I mean, there must be thousands of men in Whitechapel who match this description, wouldn't you say?
You're right, Watson. We have worked on who, now let's work on where. We need a map of Whitechapel. And please, also, find me a pencil, 2 compasses, one of which can draw ellipses.
Oh my goodness, this is the best part. I love this part. It's so bone-chilling. Okay, let's see. I need a map.
I am in need of something.
You are. What? Oh, this is interesting. I don't know if I need to do that yet, though. What am I? Gotcha. Now I can do it.
I am in need of something.
What? Or do I need to actually have it?
First of all, let's place our 4 murders on this map, as well as the spot where the graffito appeared, and the piece of apron was dropped.
Okay. Annie Chapman was in, Henbury Street. And Elizabeth Stride was Dutfield's Yard. Polly Nichols was Bucks Row. And this is similar to how actual detectives determine the location of serial killers. Catherine Edos was Mitre Square, and then...
Perfect, Watson. Let's connect each crime scene to the one out of the others that is the furthest.
Okay, so we're going to just connect them like this.
You see, Watson, the murders aren't grouped together, but seem to be spread out like cardinal points around a central zone. The killer obviously wanted to avoid returning to the previous scenes of his crimes,
right,
assuming that they would be more closely watched, or that he could be recognized.
Right.
So, the killer lives at the center of this cross?
In the vicinity, most certainly, but how near? We cannot afford to get it wrong. If you concentrate, Watson, you will notice that the murders are roughly equidistant from the intersection point of the diagonals. Let's focus on the night of the double murder. Remember, Watson, it took us 20 minutes to get from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square. Let's draw a line from one to the other. Perfect. We didn't
he had
make
to
the
go
trip
home
as
and
the crow
change
flies,
first.
but that would not harm our estimate. Let's suppose the killer left Dutfield's yard at 1 a.m. and arrived in Mitre Square at 1:35 a.m. when he was seen by the two Josephs. If he took 5 minutes to change his clothes, that leaves a range of 10 minutes to determine where this man's lodgings are. We must determine the area in which one can go from Dutfield's yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. To do this, let's draw an ellipsis. The length between Dutfield's yard and Mitre Square corresponds to 20 minutes. By adding half, we get a distance of 30 minutes. By taking the two right segments, each starting from the two murder scenes, and which the sum of the lengths makes 30 minutes, we get our ellipses.
Okay, so I think... So it's this one. Okay. So, no, not there. No. Oh, you know what? I think what we do... Hold on. Sorry. I don't know. I think we... 20... I don't know how... How do we do this again? I don't know. I think I did another one over here. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I think we do a circle including them. No? I don't know. How do I do this? No, I don't think that's right. And I can't remember what he said either. Trace an ellipsis in which we can go from Dutfield's yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. Yeah, I thought I did that. What? How am I wrong? I don't know. Why am I wrong? Come on, game. What? It won't let me... Come on. How do I not know how to do this? I've done this several times before. I feel like this is how you do it, right? No, that's not it. Make me look it up. What? No, go back to where it was. No. No, I want the walkthrough. Come on. I was just there. No, not that one. Why is this hard? No, Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. No. Holmes versus Jack the Ripper walkthrough. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm right. That is how you do it. Draw an ellipsis that covers Mitre Square and Duffield's Yard. Can I click on... No? This is the only one... I'm trying to click on this one. I thought this one was a compass. Okay, first of all, I can't see because my screen brightness is too low. Okay. I don't know how else to do it. I don't know how to make it look the way that they do. I don't know why it doesn't. I don't know where to put it. I don't know how to do it. Click the wood compass. Using the compass, draw an ellipsis that covers Mitre Square and Duffield's Yard. Oh wait, hold on. No, it won't let me. Come on. Connect the two victims that are far from each other. Yeah, no, I did that. Makes a green cross. Find the area where Jack might have went to change clothes. Using the pencil, draw a green line connecting Mitre Square and Duffield's Yard. I did that. 2. Using the compass, draw an ellipsis that covers Mitre Square and Duffield's Yard. I don't know where I'm supposed to start to make it. It doesn't count. Why? Why is that not the answer? Ugh. Man, that's super annoying. I'm too hungry for this. Isn't that close enough? I don't understand. Can't do it. Why? What am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm too far up. No, no. No, it's too far down. Trying to make it match the picture. That's not right either. I don't understand. Why isn't this working? It doesn't look anything like the picture. Why? I don't know why. I don't know. I wish I could just start from here and just draw it over here. I don't understand why they're not good enough. Is there any way I'm using the wrong tool? I don't know, guys. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to like actually watch a video because I don't know. Sorry about that. I don't know. Sometimes puzzles are really frustrating and I don't understand why, but I'm gonna call it a night. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below if you're watching this video after the fact. Please click subscribe if you'd like more content like this, and click the notification bell so you can be notified the next time I go live, the next time I upload. I'll be going live tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube for my Storytime Saturday, where we'll be reading chapters 2 and 3 of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, so come join us for that. And follow me on Twitter for updates on link in the description. PhoenixGinny, capital P, capital G, switch the E and O around. Yeah, be on the lookout for more stuff coming on my channel. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye bye.